Hey Faith. Hey Ricky. Let me get you in. Hey Mitch. Welcome, welcome, welcome everybody. Let me know if you could hear me correctly. I have the AC on in the room.
What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I
I
can
can,
hear you.
I can hear you too.
Good. Hot Sauce Empress. Hello. All right. How you doing today, Ricky?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. I'm a little tired, but I'm good.
Same here. It's been busy. DC, what's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up, DC? What's up, Mitch? What's up, Faith?
You could hear me. Good, good. Thank you, Faith. Do you guys hear anything else but me, right? Just me. You don't hear the AC buzzing noise.
I don't hear that. No, not at all.
Okay, good, good. Because I hear it. It's annoying to me. I had to put it on today. It's so hot by us. Is it hot by you?
It's a little bit rainy today. Yesterday it was like 90.
We may have rain tomorrow, apparently, but it's been in the 70s since after election night.
Yeah,
Like literally.
it's pretty wild, to say the least. I can't believe that it's still this type of weather right now. Like it makes zero sense at all.
Yeah, a lot has changed. A lot has changed.
Yeah. But climate change isn't real, so it's cool.
Wow, we'll talk about that in a few, for real. That is something. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So we're gonna wait for a few more to come on. We have four in the room, and
Yeah, nobody's gonna want to miss this one. Last one we had a whole lot of fun and then it got
yeah, Instagram. I don't know what the issue was. It was glitchy all
that was a
over.
fantastic show too, you know?
It was. Hi, T Berry.
What's up, Jacob? That's my podcast partner. What's up,
Hey,
Jocelyn?
how you doing, Jackson? What's up? Nice, nice, nice.
What's up, Jocelyn?
Thank you for
Like
being with us, Jackson.
like Jocelyn's the little brother that I think we all want in life, you know what I mean?
Yes, for real, for real.
Yeah.
I love his pep. He's
Ricky,
very.
did you buy stocks? Ricky did not buy stocks.
What's up, Dwayne? Thank you for coming in.
I did hear my 401k is going to be down the drain now that we have a new president in town. So,
Well, it's actually going to revert itself. It's going to go down to go up. So no worries about that
oh
with
yeah,
everything that's about to transpire.
yeah.
Hi, Delio Wynn. Thank you for coming in.
He is. Jassim is family. I can't wait to hang out with him. Everybody, I don't think everybody understands. Like Jassim's like 9 foot tall. Like I don't think people realize that he's like 6'4" or something like that. I swear. I remember seeing a picture of him once. I forget who it was with, but he's like
Mm-hmm.
six something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Gardette just came in. Welcome aboard. And Jasmine is saying,
You're only 5'11". I could have sworn you're much taller than that. I don't. Maybe it was the video that I saw with you and Norzak. I saw the picture of you and Norzak. You just look tall. Maybe just Carson's short. I guess maybe possibly.
hmm. All right, so I want to start the show. Before I have you introduce yourself, I want to go into clarify something today because something really peculiar happened, I would say, an hour before we actually started the show. We had Montreal that came on your prompt, and I did tag you on it. Basically, we're saying a lot of things that were just very unclear, but it was to the extent that I want everybody to see this, and I want everybody to know that everybody should be treated like Ricky on Rizzle. So he went on and rambled with a few videos. And finally, I came up and I was just like, what are you saying? First of all, why are you on my prompt, number one? And this prompt is about Ricky because Ricky's going to be on the show tonight. And other than that, what's your point? So he came and said something in return, like, well, I want everybody to see this because apparently there's some sort of favoritism. So I want to say, what type of favoritism are you talking about, first of all? And secondly, I don't understand what you're trying to say about me without really saying it, but you're going to get on my prompt and talk all of this and not really say my name in it. So I want to make it clear. Ricky is back here today based on the fact that the first interview that we had when we had just started the show was not posted because of technical issues. That's number one. Number two, I was heartbroken about it because he is the only interview that I've had that was not posted on this Instagram, and I could not promote it on the YouTube just like everybody else. So by all means, it was fair enough to have Ricky back on the show. That's number one. Number two, the date that was chosen for Ricky to be on the show was scheduled like 2.5 months prior. It just so happened that it ended up on the same time with the election that makes it so perfect for Ricky to come back. And I'm glad it worked that way because who I am is a person that works with God first, with my spirit guides, all of my ancestors. So I'm not surprised that all of this is coming all together very nicely because of who I serve and who I am as a person. And everybody who comes on my show knows very well and feels the same treatment, that they are treated like a king and a queen, because who I am is a queen before this as a facilitator. Okay? So I want to make it clear. If anybody comes on my prompts about my interviews, talking some type of unclear message, make sure that you contact me directly, because apparently you have an issue with me. And when I responded back, I had to state directly that you're not promoting Ricky, because you're telling me you're promoting Ricky. You're not promoting Ricky. What you're promoting is jealousy based on your part, because Ricky's coming back on my show, and Ricky has been getting a lot of clout because of the barrier that he broke with his show. Okay, so apparently it seems like on his side, there was some sort of favoritism because I helped out part of the show, but a lot of people helped you out part of your show. And first of all, election night was a night that was privy to each and every one of us who is not only politically sound, community oriented, a human person breathing, okay? And you really want to know what your future is all about, because we all have been at a standstill since 4 years ago. Our children cannot go to school correctly. Okay, everybody's on lockdown. Everybody is in fear. Everybody is in tension. Everybody is scared. So by all means, what you did, creating togetherness, bringing people together, opposing views, having people hash out their differences, and by all means still come under one umbrella, was phenomenal. Personally, I love projects, but that's not a project that I could have done. So of course, I would always highlight you and give you your props and give you the respect that you deserve for taking it upon yourself to create a program like that. Because it takes something out of you, your character, your personality, who you are as a being, to stand up for something so strong. So I want to make that clear to everyone. And there are going to be a few other people coming back on my show, because my show is transformational. Some people have come on my show, and when they have come on my show, they have stated that, you know what, when I came on your show, I was scared. I was uncomfortable. I didn't really know what to say. But you know what, after I was on your show, I realized that what I can create, and I'm working on a few things that I want everybody to be aware of. So they've come to me, and I've said, you know what, by all means, I'm going to look for a space and give it to them. So in November, there are going to be some other returnees, by all means. And just remember, this is my show. I'm the creator of this show. Okay? Everybody else is a guest. Okay? I'm a facilitator here, promoting each and every one of you guys. When I do this show, I don't promote Martine. It's not about Martine. I have many other things to promote. I'm interested in you. I'm interested in what you have to deliver. I'm interested in what you have going on. So if somebody feels that one person is getting promoted over another, look at yourself and see what is it that you need to work on, so that you could come back on this show and say, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm promoting, and this is what I want to be pushed on. Because I'm here to promote as a facilitator. And that's what
Yeah.
I want to make it clear. So now, Ricky, introduce yourself and let's start the show.
Well, a lot of you might know I'm Ricky Valero, obviously. I want to touch on that for just a second, if you don't mind. Martine and
Go
I,
ahead.
we had what I felt like was one of the best interviews, back and forth banter with you and some of the people that were watching. It was a very passionate discussion. It was a very thought-provoking discussion. It's been an open forum. I've always been an open book, and it was a fantastic show. I was heartbroken when it didn't save. We talked literally after the show via Instagram saying that we need to do it again just because. October the 5th is whenever you reached out to me and said, hey, what's your schedule like for November? I said, put me down. You said the next date I've got available is November 10th. Boom. That's how this happened. Secondly, some of the stuff about the election, I did a lot of soul searching for me. It was, I don't always have to agree with somebody's opinion. Um, I do. I'm very passionate at the same time. That could be said by a lot of individuals. But throughout this process, I reached out to a friend. Well, at the time, wasn't a friend, just a stranger, really. Samira Armstrong, the actress, and I reached out. She had just came out in support of Trump, and I said, "Hey, I would love to interview you and get your thoughts on this entire thing. Like, I just want to know why." And what that led to was um, a lot of interviews that kind of followed up with it. A lot of different individuals from both sides of the fence that wanted to sit down and talk. And I'm always about giving equal opportunity to a podcast. If somebody wants to be on my show, I'm not going to tell them no. Okay. We all know what drives views. Okay. I mean,
Absolutely.
we do. Conflict does. But for me, the one thing leading up to the election, I made it abundantly clear to anyone that came on the show that night, I will boot you if you become negative. What's up, GQ?
Mm-hmm.
I will not stand for it. As you throughout the night, you were there. We had Republicans, we had Democrats, we
Mm-hmm.
had Independents, we had people that didn't care about any of them. We
Mm-hmm.
had a collective group, and we had a chat that was active all night. We
Yes.
had and I told you this off the air, and I'll tell you this on the air. I can't thank you enough for the support throughout the entire night. I felt like I wanted to bring something different to the table. We saw on the news, you see the negativity, 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 negativity. And people can understand you can agree to disagree, but you could also agree to understand. And that's the one that nobody
Absolutely.
wants to do. So for me, it's just like last night. Everybody would be like, I said, I sent a message to everybody. I wrote an article about it today. I've told several people. I went to a Trump rally last night. I did.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the thing about it is I'll also say this: through this process, I've lost friends.
Yeah.
I've had people ask me, "Oh, are you a Trump supporter now? Are you going to vote for Trump?" And the thing about it is if anybody, and even the night of the election, you can attest to this. Did I ever one time point my view out to anybody throughout the show? Seven
No,
hours.
you were very neutral, and one of
I
the
was
reasons why I
confronted.
left it.
I was
Mm-hmm.
confronted by it several different times by several different people, and
Mm-hmm.
I pushed it off. It's not my place. It's the same thing with what I wrote in my article. I went to the Trump rally so I could write an article about it. It's about
Absolutely.
understanding. It's about, do I have to agree with everything everybody said? No. But it's about understanding and learning and trying to figure out why people feel a certain way and how we can utilize our platforms to bring people together.
Mm-hmm.
Election night was amazing. It was 7 hours. I didn't. I really didn't recover from it for a couple of days after. My body was sore. I wasn't in a very comfortable chair. But I did. I 3 consecutive days, maybe even more. I studied. I did research. I looked over the 2016 election. I wanted to know the numbers from then. I needed to know what states were going to be swung. We had fun, but we also took it serious, and it was a, did I have a bathroom break during the live stream, Jasmine?
Yeah.
I had one, and it was when Colt came on, and he was in the midst of his 73rd promotion of his of, of his cream. But it's for me, it's like it's just about learning. I mean, I want to,
Mhm.
you know, I have a firm faith. I have a belief in God like no other. I believe in spreading His word. I believe in understanding His word, but also at the same time, I have a belief of understanding people that don't believe in God. Right? You know what I mean? I understand why
Right.
don't you believe, and I feel like
Mhm.
we're getting to a place in time where people are promoting God's message the wrong way. And
Absolutely.
that detracts young generations from wanting to understand the word of God. And
Yes.
we're losing God in things, and people want to blame other people. But if you really look at the root of the problem, it's really the individuals that are hardcore Bible thumpers that want to promote hate, even though it says not to promote hate within the Bible. You can't have it both ways. And I can
Mhm.
understand, me personally, somebody that has firm faith can understand why faith is slowly going away. And
Mhm.
that's, I don't know. I was just always raised to understand. There's a lot of things in my life I'm self-taught. I've understood I've had to learn myself. Everything that I do, my education's not as long, and don't have a college education and stuff like that. What's up, Mitch? But for me, it's about understanding. There's YouTube videos, there's books. I mean, I'll tell you right now, I posted this. I got hate for it. I bought this. Do I agree with everything this woman says? No, but she's got some
Mhm.
insightful things that she has to say. And
Right.
and if we don't understand everybody's point of views, you know what I mean? Like Martine and I are not always going to agree on anything. You know what I mean? Like, but that's okay.
Absolutely.
I
And we
respect
haven't.
Martine, and
But
I
at
mean,
the
hell, you
time,
went on a
you
rampage
know,
before this show as the show started. I didn't even know, and then I looked. I was like, damn, there's 17 videos. Damn, I missed it. That's that. Like I'm kind of out of the loop on Rizzo a little bit. I
no matter what, but we're still gonna come and get the job done. Period.
exactly, and
That doesn't stop us. That doesn't deviate us from our purpose. That's the reason why on Rizzo I always talk about purpose, because once you have your purpose designed, it's already defined. It doesn't matter. They're gonna throw hours at you. That's to be expected. But at the end
yeah,
of the day, you go back to purpose because it's already scripted. It's already written, and that's it. You always keep going back to where you're supposed to be. That's
yeah,
the point. You
yeah,
know.
and that's the
That's the
thing
point.
for me is I'm still trying to find my purpose, and I don't know exactly what it is, and I've not always been the most outspoken individual when it comes to God. I never understood how to profoundly say things. I'm scared to. I never want to be the person that that is that person that forces faith on people, right? I don't want to be that person because that person deters people from God. So for me, it's like, so that's when I made the daily scripture. I uploaded the videos. And for me, that's me spreading the word in a way that I know how to with my voice. And yes, everybody, I did cut the beard.
It looks great. It looks great. I like it.
Yeah.
But you know the thing about purpose is that it's what you define it to be. Based on your personal beliefs, based on what's in your heart, and what you stand for. So the way you go about things already designs your purpose. You just need to know how to really put it out in words. But based on your actions and what you delivered, it is clear and cut that your purpose is to bring people together. That's
yeah.
really what it is. And you keep doing it every single time.
And that's the thing. Like, and I've told people, everybody was like, well, the election's over. I guess you can go back to posting your movie stuff, and you can stop talking about both sides of the fence, because people have that issue with me talking to Republicans and not just,
Yeah.
so let me just say all these gems of knowledge we're dropping, and we're looking at Ricky's beard. Exactly, GQ. Tell him, man. Tell him, bro. But it is like it's not going to stop. Like for me, I have spent the last couple of days trying to figure out, learning more about politics, understanding politics. I even had somebody reach out and say, you know what, Samir said at the night of the election, and I had a few people inquire with me since he
Mhm.
said that about me getting into politics, and I don't know if that's my cup of tea, right? You know what I mean? Talking about him is one thing, but running, there's a lot of rigorous stuff that goes behind it. But I just you're right. It is about bringing people together, and it's I'm going to continue to do so. You know what I mean? That's just I don't really care if you're Republican, Democrat. I don't have to agree with you. Now, I will say that there is individuals within both sides. Both sides. I'm going to say both sides, everybody, that are vile and need Jesus. I'll just leave it at they need Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
for I wrote this article today about going to the rally, and there's a lot of alarming things that were said in this article that were said while I was there that really just broke my heart, because the representation of God should not be utilized in the way that it was that night.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then there's thousands of people. There was kids there. I mean, you saw. I posted the pictures. It was insane the amount of individuals that were there. First off, all maskless. Like I think there was like 5 masks in the entire thing. And before everybody asked, if you look at my pictures, that's how far I was away from everybody. I was off in the cut to the side, and I really struggle with understanding the utilization of God in a hated way. And not to get too crazy on here with politics, but I never understand the people that can be pro-life in one sentence, but also in the next sentence say they're against immigration,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or they don't understand the trans side of the world. Like, look,
Yeah,
I don't understand it, but it's not my place to understand. It's that's
absolutely.
not my that's God's place, right? That's where God comes into it. Like he created everybody equally. He created a
Mm-hmm.
Martine, he created me, he created GQ Jassam. He created us all equally in his image, and it doesn't matter what we think about somebody, but if you're promoting hate, whether it's on Black lives, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
on abortions, whether it's on politics, it's whether it's Muslims, it's immigration, it's people trying to come over here. Stop talking about this is the greatest country ever, and
Exactly.
preach it that way. If it's the greatest country ever, then people of course are going to want to come to the greatest country ever. I don't think we're the greatest country. I think that we are a very flawed country that has a lot of issues that we need to come together. And I firmly believe this with everything inside of me, and I know I get a lot of hate for this as well. I understand Trump is a bad person, and the people
Mm-hmm.
that voted for him, that's them, that's their decision. But just
Mm-hmm.
like Biden said, and just like I said in those 7 videos that I made, 2008, I voted for John McCain. I didn't vote for Obama. I voted for John McCain. Again, folks, yes, I voted Republican. I have voted both sides.
Same here.
And in 2008, he made a speech.
Mm-hmm.
Obama did. And that speech, it changed my life,
Right.
because it was a powerful speech. I mean, Obama's great speech. Like he's great at speaking to people. And by 2012, I was like, you know what? He spoke to me so much. I'm going to vote for the guy. I
Right.
voted for him. He won. And then, of course, 2016 happened, and 2016 broke me. I'm not going to lie to you
Yeah.
guys. It.
Same here.
I woke up the next morning, and my daughter at the time, this is 4 years, she's like 7, 8, 6, 7 years old. And she's like, Daddy, did Hillary win? And I was like, no,
Mm-hmm.
she didn't. And she cried. I mean, I don't get me wrong, I cried the entire night prior. So you know what I
Same
mean?
here.
It blew my mind, because I had very skeptic. You heard everything on the news. No way Donald Trump's going to win. No way.
Mm-hmm.
No way. I'm like, you're right. Let's go. It was the first election I had ever participated in. I made phone calls. I sent emails. I did all of this. I was doing the work of Hillary Clinton, and it broke me. And
Mm-hmm.
as I sat there that day, I told my little girl, I said to her, I was like, you know what? I was like, I've been here before with John McCain, the guy who I wanted to win. I was like, well, maybe we need to give him a chance. And for the 4 years after that, he had an opportunity, a person that votes both sides, to win my vote.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest is history. By the way, I will not confirm or deny who I voted for. So,
Oh, that's fine. You don't have to do
but
that.
if you know who Ricky Valero is, you know who I voted for. So that's a that's my problem, Martine. That's my big thing. Like, you know, I've spoken passionately on Rizzle. I've spoken passionately on Instagram. I've spoken passionately on Facebook, Twitter. It doesn't matter. If you know who I am, who Ricky
You don't
Valero
know.
is,
Yeah,
you
you
know
don't.
who I am. You know who I'll vote for. And if you know that, you should also understand who Ricky Valero is the understanding individual that wants to understand things and learn things and doesn't have to agree with a Republican or a Democrat, because I criticize everybody. Somebody wrote a comment in an article. They said, "Why don't you didn't criticize? Why did you say this about her? You're just part of the left, and you're criticizing these people." And she didn't even say that. I was like, because the clip was about the trans thing. I was like, well, I didn't get the
Mhm.
clip because I wasn't paying attention. She caught me completely off guard with it because I was just, whoa, like this is not the place for this, right? You know what I mean? This isn't. You're not spewing hate. So I found the clip, sent it to the guy, said, "Oh, well, here," and he's like, "Oh, well, you didn't have the clip in there." I was like, "Well, I understand that, but I said what you said. You just didn't choose to believe me." And then I responded to him. He's like, "Well, why don't you condemn the left and their riots and their this and that?" And I'm like, again, if you know who Ricky Valero is, Ricky Valero
Mhm.
did. I watched the videos in Philadelphia. It broke my heart. Until you see your city
Yeah,
get knocked down, till you see your city get looted. And the thing about it is I don't know. Looting's not okay to me. It's not. You know what I
it's
mean?
not. Hmm.
It's not. And I understand the some people's thought process behind it. You know what I mean? I've heard that. You know what I mean? But when you're showing up with dollies to Best Buy or Walmart, it's planned. Like, you are ready to go in and just take. And people don't
Hmm.
understand, when you loot and you steal, you could potentially be shutting that store down. You shut that store down,
Hmm.
there's how many employees? Let's just say there's 10 employees. Those 10 employees aren't getting paid that day.
Hmm.
If
Hmm.
those people ain't getting paid, they're not going to be able to put food on their tables. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Which, if you can't put food on your tables, especially in areas like Philadelphia, you're going to resort to other means in order to put food on the table.
Right, right.
I don't know.
Well, one thing is that, once again, I'm going to say congratulations to you, and I hope that you do continue on with your journey on actually bringing people together. Because right now, your platform is needed more now than anything. What you did is something that you started on that night, election night,
Yeah.
but there is a need for the continuation of conversations of both sides,
Yeah.
because we are in the route of trying to still fully understand each other, trying to get to know one another, trying to get to understand each other's mindsets, why we think a certain way. I mean, we need to understand what are the personal experiences one has had as to why they're on one side and not the other,
Yeah.
because it's all based on those particular things too. It's based on where you come from, or how you brought up, what you're all about, and everything else. Um, and now there's a major case of humanity. We still, as we speak, we have a lot more people dying and getting sick, and that needs to be dealt with. That is something that has to be under control one way or the other. We cannot continue like this. And we can't sit here and say that, oh, it's quote unquote a purge, or no, it is not called for people to just be dying because of a pandemic. Something needs to be done. A responsibility and accountability has to be taken for all of those lives. Those lives cannot
Yeah.
go in vain.
And then and the flip side of that is is also understanding that every day that this passes, more and more people are going to be out of work. Like, you know, everybody
Absolutely.
understands I'm a big time movie guy. I love movies, but Regal closed all their theaters because there's no new movies coming out. We can't stay. We have got to get rid of the political nature of the virus. We have got to
Mhm.
understand that it's about human life, but we also
Yes.
have to understand that if you can have, like, if you watch the Notre Dame football game, like, you have hundreds, you have thousands of people there. You let me watch that on TV, right? And you see them storm the field. None of these kids have masks on, whatever. But at the same time, I can't go to a movie theater. Like, that
Hmm.
that that creates divide, right? You know what I mean? It
Mhm.
creates divide because people are like, well, you can go to work and you have to go to work because you work at Walmart. You're an essential employee, which I never understood to this day how Walmart has an essential employees. No offense to Walmart people because they're important, but at the same time, these people are supposed to be essential employees, but you want to put them in the same boat as nurses and doctors. We'll start paying them as nurses and doctors and teachers. And I have a great
Mhm.
appreciation for teachers. Our teachers are underpaid. Our education system
Mhm.
is far broken, and it's light years behind. I could talk for hours about the education because my daughter went from a I don't even a lower income um, area of town of schooling, right? And
Mhm.
when I moved up here with my wife to this area that we're in now. It's a higher.
Mhm.
It's not a higher income, but the education is obviously taught in a different way, right? And
Mhm.
in the area where she went prior, there was different. Like she was the minority in her classroom, right? You know what I mean? It was. She's white, but she was the minority. There was there's blacks, there's Indians, there's Arabian, the Muslim, they're all of them in the classroom. And then you go to this school that she's going to now, and she is just like, everybody's white there. But the curriculum changed and she
Mhm.
struggled. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But also all it showed me is you're teaching a dumbed down curriculum to this portion of the world, but you're teaching an advanced curriculum to this side of the world. All that does again, as a human being, you see that you struggle with that, and you can understand why people get mad, why people
Yeah.
get frustrated. Why are not everybody given the same opportunities? Because they're not, never have been.
Well, that's the reason why it is important for people to get involved in their community,
Yes.
because every area there is a community board. And the community board is where the decisions are made for the area, for the community. As far as how many buses you have running up and down, and that's a decision that's made within your community board. As far as the finances for schools, the curriculum, all that is discussed at the table of that community board. We could go on about this, but people need to get involved in that. People need to get involved on the PTA board. You
Yep.
know, those things are essential to
Yeah.
everyday lives.
Mm-hmm.
You have to take the time to go to these meetings. And a lot of times these meetings are after work. It's once a month if you get involved in your community board,
Yeah.
and you get the newsletters coming to you, you have the events coming to you. You could stay at home and still participate. Like now, we're in a pandemic. You could still participate in voters registration and mobilize people to get people out there to vote. I did it, being
Yeah.
home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's why we use Zoom. Like, put all the resources together and make things happen. You
Yeah.
know, so that's why, like, this conversation that you created, it should never just be a one-time thing, because you are a resource within yourself, and you are very helpful to a lot of people. You open a
Yeah.
lot of eyes, you get people on track. And the good thing about it is that people like to listen to you. A lot of people look up to you, so you have created yourself to actually be an authority in this, what you created,
Yeah.
and I think it's a beautiful thing.
I appreciate that. I mean, it means the world to me because um, it's funny. When I went last night, I took the pictures and I came home and I'm like, I'm afraid to post these. I'm afraid to post an article about this. I'm
Mm-hmm.
worried about losing people in my circle, you know what I mean, because of going to this. I don't want people to look at this and say, I went because I am this, right? I went
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted to cover it. I wanted to hear the words. I wanted to have the opportunity to hear why these individuals are meeting up. Um, and also at the same time, within this process, I run a podcast network, and I run a website, and politics are hard, politics is people are passionate about their politics. I'm passionate about the politics too, but people don't want to, when it comes down to it, they don't want to hear both sides. you know, and that's where, again, where I felt like this pull, again, which I will say is God, you know, I always feel that pull from him, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it's, you know, I first started talking about doing the political election thing. I started talking to people, and people were very opposed to it in my circle. And I understood why. And I was like, all right, I'll leave this out of it, and it'll just be Ricky Valero. Ricky Valero is going to host this. Ricky Valero is going to do this. But the
Mhm.
understanding afterwards, it's not going to change. And it's not that I'm not trying to hurt feelings. I'm not trying to ruffle feathers. I'm not trying to be a neutral party. I'm just trying to bring people together and
Right.
use my voice to do that. And if I lose people across the way, then that's their loss. You know what I mean? That's how I
Right.
feel. It's their loss because I have a God that believes everybody's created equally. And my God
Absolutely.
believes that everybody's created equally. So I'm going to treat Republicans, Democrats, independents, trans, gay, black, Muslim, it doesn't matter who you are. I'm going to treat you the same way. And I want you to do the same to me. We're
Mhm.
not, we're all created equally, and until that message is come across, until people understand that, until people live and breathe that, and
Mhm.
again, we cannot continue to talk about how we are this great country, and we have some great things. We are free. Our troops are amazing. What they do, I could not do in a heartbeat. I would never be able to be a person, you know, on the front lines or anything like that. I said respect them. I got a stepson in the army right now, and he's doing what I couldn't even imagine to do. And the respect is insane there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But everybody in every walk of life, until we start treating each other with respect and equally, we're going to continue to go down this path that we are in, that there's no return. And it's hard. You know what I mean? It's hard to watch.
Mhm.
And it's scary. Like going to
Yeah.
that last night was scary, right?
Absolutely. I'm sure.
It's
Yes.
scary. You know what I mean? I talked to a friend of mine, and I'll be 100% honest with you. There was one black
Mhm.
person there. One.
Mhm.
And it was the girl that was on the stage.
Mhm.
One. I called my buddy up today, and we talked about it. He's like, man, I would have loved to have been there. And we joked because I said, well, the only way, and he's, okay, so I'll prefix, he's black. But he's
Mhm.
like, I was like, the only way you could have gone is if you would have showed up with a MAGA, you know, t-shirt on, a hat on. You would have had to wave the flag. You would have had pants on, shoes, socks. You would have had to pull up with the
Mhm.
truck, you know, screaming, you know, greatest president ever, whatever, in order for you to not to look at him and be like, what are you doing here? Like, this is like, the thing about it is, it's sad, right? He knows that he can't go to something like that and try to
Mhm.
cover it the same way I did because I'm white and he's not, you know,
Mhm.
because they don't look at. While we were there, it was funny. One minute you've got the pro-lifes of the world, and on the flip side, it was Black Lives Matter, boo, and it's like, hmm?
Yeah.
What? How
Pro-life,
does,
but not a good. It's pro-life, but not enough good enough for Black Lives Matter.
you know?
You know.
And that's the thing. Like, I mean, I've done some extensive research on the words and the organization, right? And when I say Black Lives Matter, I'm not talking about an organization. I'm not
Absolutely.
talking about
We're talking
uh,
about the actual lives that actually do matter.
exactly. You know, there's a difference. You know, and it's
Yeah.
okay for there to be a difference because does it surprise me that an organization would make money off of the term Black Lives Matter? No, no.
Mhm.
How many people did you see on Amazon or Etsy or, you know, Amazon, one of the most corrupt companies? Don't get me wrong. Please give me my 2 day
Mhm.
packages still, okay? Like, let's not get crazy, all right? I still Christmas is here. I'm still ordering. I know that's an oxymoron here, but like Amazon of all places um, that don't that don't take care of their employees come out with a message, you know, Black Lives Matter. No, you're using that. You're selling shirts now. You're selling this. You're how much of that money that did you really donate? You know what I mean? It's like, it's the people that changed their Instagram tag to black because it was, blackout Tuesday or whatever. How
Mm-hmm.
many of them the next day went back to their lives like it was normal? You know,
Mm-hmm.
stop. It's not a hashtag. That's the problem. That's black. It's not a hashtag. It's life. It's life. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
I mean, in this line of work, you're going to learn and know. Like, first of all, as a creator, once you step into your purpose, you are bound to lose people, number one.
yeah,
It's a given, okay? Because I've been there and I don't give two hoots about it. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because I'm here to do what I was called to do,
yeah.
and that's it. So, by all means, just continue to fulfill your purpose.
Hmm.
Maybe you want to redefine it a little bit more so that people could know clearly that your image is to promote togetherness, unity,
Yeah,
you know. And in order to do that, I mean, you're gonna work just like a freelance journalist. You're a freelance
yeah.
blogger. You're a
Absolutely.
freelance podcaster. So you
Yeah.
have to go into the fire to get the news, to
I
bring
was
it back to the
I found
people.
out that I found out they were having another gathering on Saturday. I just realized I was going to be out of town, or I'd probably go to that. You know what I mean?
you know and
It,
it's
it
you're not doing anything different than what has already been done already, but they might have put a respect on it because they know they're a quote unquote journalist or they're
right,
a quote unquote broadcaster.
right.
You're doing exactly the same thing with your personal intention to bring people together, to create unity and togetherness.
Yeah.
What's the big deal?
And that's the thing. It's not, and there's problem because people look at it a certain way. They're like, this is not okay, so I'm not okay with it. I'm not asking you to be okay with it. I'm not saying that at the end of my conversation, I need you to I need you to agree with every word that I say. When I have the conversation with somebody that I don't agree with, I want to understand why you feel a certain way. I want you to explain to me why. I don't want, that's why whenever I had my Joe Biden podcast, I said, I want you to tell me why you're voting for Joe Biden, but you're not allowed to mention Donald Trump whenever you tell me. Because I don't want you to tell me why. I asked you to come on the show to tell me why you're voting for Joe Biden. And the vice versa. I had asked the same question. Why are you voting for Donald Trump? I
I
want you
think
to say,
the way that you did it was an open forum for all,
mm-hmm.
and it was great. I think you were the best person to actually put it together for real.
And even
And
if, and like whenever you watch it, even when there was that somewhat uncomfortable moment we had, there was
it was like
when
a wave. It went up, it went down. It went up, it went down. And then it was like platonic, you know? And then
exactly.
it was like, okay, we're here now. We
Hey
got
Jeannie,
it.
yeah, exactly. It was there was people like I know people personally that when like some of this stuff with COVID got brought up and that one's hard. It's
It
hard
is.
because people that have lost people really take that to heart.
I do.
And
I do.
and understandably so, because whether do we don't know the truth behind everything, right? We don't. We're never going to know it. We probably won't. That's not my place. But to
Mhm.
understand, it's very much real.
It is real. It is
It's
real.
very much a problem, but I do feel like some parts of our lives have got to get back to normal, or there's going to be hundreds of thousands of people that are going to be out of jobs, and it's going to be we're going to go through a depression. You know what I mean? We
Basically.
we really are, because the more we're out of music venues, the more artists are going to go. Like, there's not going to be money in these things for a long period of time, right? You know what I mean? Because if some places, if you have a music venue right now, if you have concerts going on, a lot of people can't afford to go to them right now, right?
Hmm.
You're going to have to discount tickets. You're going to have concerts. Like, it's like football games. Like,
Hmm.
again, I don't understand. I went to a football game and they had their COVID protocols, but you could sit like you sit a couple people here, but then the row's empty, and then at the end of the row you have people sitting above them, and I'm like, okay, that's fine, cool, we're sitting apart, but when we leave, we're all leaving
Yeah, you're
together.
all going to be bunched up.
We're all
Unless
congregated
they
together
say
leaving.
row one and then row two, and then they
Right.
call it by row. I don't know, but
Yeah,
it's
but
still,
it's crazy, and they didn't do that, and it's like, wait
yeah.
a minute, like, how
You
does
know,
this make any sense?
we're living in a very difficult time in our lives. We
Yeah,
really are. We
crazy.
really are.
And
And like,
I don't blame just one person for all this. It's not, I'm
no.
sorry, and I know nobody wants to hear that. It's not just Trump's fault. It's not.
Mhm.
There was a lot of things that he could have done differently, but this was going to kill people regardless. And
Right. But the thing
and
about it is that the team, the task force that was actually put together to take care of the pandemic, why was that dissolved?
oh, for sure. I'm not, yeah, again,
You
yeah,
know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And you
absolutely.
got that, it's like, I mean, we've gone through pandemics before. It's not the
Yeah.
first time. And we're the United States, for crying out loud. You know what I
I
mean?
think
So,
the biggest problem we have now is we have social media.
yeah, yeah.
You know, it's
Mhm.
crazy to me because I'm like, half the time I'm like, man, I just want to delete all my social media. But I'm like, well, you can't do that, Ricky. You write for, you do podcasts, if you delete your social media, you're gonna have to stop doing all of those things, and you love doing all of
Yeah.
those things, so you can't stop doing it. You know?
And you have a calling. So,
Oh,
the good
absolutely.
thing about it is when social media becomes purposeful.
Yes.
And because you got something going on, you
Yeah.
know. Social media is different to many people because it's based on their purpose. And some have yet to define their purpose. So therefore social media is just hanging out, They
Yeah.
could delete those accounts if they want to. But somebody like you that has a calling, has a purpose, you're bringing people together, you're pulling away together opposing views that need to be heard by all means.
Absolutely.
That's necessary. That is necessary. And one thing you talked about depression. That's one thing. But me being in the healthcare field, I think about suicidal ideation for real.
Yeah.
This,
The
this
longer
be,
the longer these people are at home, the longer these people are going to be sad. These longer these people
and
are
it's
going to.
difficult,
It
you
is.
know? I
I
mean,
feel
at
sorry
least,
for the kids. You know, the
exactly.
kids not in good homes. You know, we don't
Yeah.
think about that. You know, there's
And
hundreds of thousands of kids that are home right now, and
yeah,
some of those kids might have school as an escape, as a place to get away from abusive parents.
yeah,
Um,
drama.
you
Hmm.
know, and that's scary. And we have kids at home that could be getting into things that they're not supposed to. You know what I mean? Like, whether it's drugs, it's drinking, it's whatever have you. You're at home by yourself, right? There's not everybody that has the same opportunities like I am. I have somebody that's capable of being home with their kids
Yes.
while I'm working, right?
Yeah.
Not everybody's having opportunities. I'm sure there's kids that are aged from 6 to 18, and obviously some of the older ones can take care of themselves, but even some 6 to 18 that are home alone all day long right now, that are having
Yes.
to get their education on a computer. I see the education. Some of these things that these kids are losing, are learning, it's not healthy. They're
It's
not
not
being
healthy
able to
at
stay
all.
on task, and if they don't have anybody at home telling them, hey, you're supposed to be on this at this time, you're supposed to be on this at this
Yeah.
time, then
Yeah.
they're only going backwards.
Yeah.
How are they going to fail any kid this year?
It's really
And
true.
again, and there's some kids, like, whenever they close the schools or whatever, I know a teacher, and she said they passed kids that would have never been passed ever in 12th grade
Yeah.
last year. They didn't have the grades; they were getting Fs, but they
Yeah.
passed them because how can you
With this
say
situation.
hey, you missed the last 3 months of school, but we can't really pass you because you can't. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
I don't know.
And
It's
what's really saddens me is that the United States actually could have worked all of this out from a long time ago. Like this whole work from home type of thing. I mean, all of this schooling from home and all of that could have been pre-done a long time ago. They could have tried it out, tested it out, done everything so that when we are in a real situation, that it's like second nature. We got
You
this,
can't tell me that most of these kids who've been out of school since March, you had April, you had May, you had June. July. And they literally waited until the last week prior to them going to school to make a call on what they were going to do for the school year.
Yeah,
Like, you had 5 months to figure out what you were going to do, and yet at the end of the day, you didn't. You failed at it. You know what I mean? Hey, GQ.
it's crazy.
But
It's really crazy. I mean, I don't know. I think that there are many ways that this could have been dealt with a lot of proportion, but at the same time, something something just needs to be done one way or the other, and we got to get a control on the pandemic, because right now the
we do.
pandemic is controlling us. At this point, it's the pandemic that's controlling us, and that
Absolutely.
we can't continue on that way. I mean, we are privileged enough to say that we're able to social distance within our homes because we have it that way. But at the same time, there are people who don't have that. Like, I'm privileged enough to say I'm working from home now, so are you. And maybe you have an upstairs and a downstairs, and you could just like separate yourself from the kids and your wife or whatever. But everybody doesn't have that.
No,
There are
I mean,
people
I'm
who have
lucky.
like
I made the joke
a
earlier
small
with my
space.
boss. I made the joke with my
Hmm.
boss earlier on the phone. I said, "Yeah, I'm running two 50-foot Ethernet cords downstairs to be able to have my computer set up the way I can, so that I'm downstairs, the kids are upstairs. I'm thankful for that. And you like you
Absolutely.
said, there's a lot of people that didn't. And GQ, you're 100% right. We do need to go back to that. That was a lot of fun. GQ and I kind of started a lot of so I don't know if everybody's kind of seen Emmanuel Ocho's Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man. Um, he did those. They became pretty popular. He had like Matthew McConaughey, a whole bunch of people in there, and they're really, really good. And it kind of gave me the idea of bringing that type of thing to like Rizzle. And GQ and I did a couple episodes. We only did like 2 or 3 of them, but it's something
Hmm.
that we need to be that I 100% agree that the conversations need to be brought back. Um, there's Rizzle. I mean, we haven't even really talked about it, but it's there's a lot of stuff on there that I don't like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we should get into it.
There's a lot of hate that's coming onto the platform.
Hmm.
It's bothersome. I see it. I haven't responded to it. I don't rizzle as much as I used to. These last few weeks obviously have been really, really busy. I've been doing a lot of interviews, not just political interviews, but also been doing a lot of movie interviews as well. Um, I jump in here and there. I do my scriptures basically every day. Like, I mean, I jump on to do that. It's much easier to do it on there. It kind of holds me accountable to do it than upload it and stuff like that. So it kind of holds me accountable to do it. But I've added a few things on there, but there's a lot of negativity on the platform. And I love the idea of GQ saying that to me, because I feel like the more people that come on, you're going to have that.
Yeah,
And my biggest thing that I really try to come at me personally in my growth and my understanding is I'm stop responding.
absolutely.
As people that are top rizzlers or whatever you want to call them, we're all equal on the platform. I'm sorry, I hate to break it to you, whether you have 45 million views or whatever, or
Absolutely.
you have 45 million robots watching you, or if you have, whatever you have, we're all on the platform. We are all equal, just like we are equal off the platform. And for me, what I start to realize is when I give somebody like Jeff the Conservative a platform to respond, and he responds a lot, and a lot, and a lot, and a lot. But when you give them that, you're giving them what they want.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things. It's like the doctor. He's made 75 accounts, and I can't bait myself. All right, I've got to speak up. I've got to say something to these people, and it's wasted breath, because
Mm.
they respond to you, and then they get you going, and whenever you get going, you're giving them the views, then people will hop onto your thing. And my thing's always been crazy is like, if I get in a heated debate, I start screaming and yelling. And what if that's the first time they see my videos?
Mm-hmm.
What if that's the first time they see Ricky's content? They see Ricky arguing with somebody, and I can get aggressive sometimes when I need to be, when I feel like, not that I'm right, but I morally feel like I'm right. So
Mm-hmm.
if I get to that point where I'm making 50, what if that's the first time they see me? What do they think of Ricky? Well, not doesn't necessarily mean it's good. If you go to my Rizzle, I archived all my channels, all of them. I don't have any. The only videos that I have are still available. I think are like my scriptures are the only ones that date back a long period of time. And I think I even started that over. Like I archived all of my channels because I wanted my negativity gone.
Mm-hmm.
I want all the negativity, all of the times that I gave somebody a voice that didn't deserve a voice on my platform, on my prompt. You know what I mean? It's not about agreeing. It's about being human to each other. It's about a respect factor. And I think it's a lot of things that we all can understand.
Absolutely.
Stop responding to the doctor. Stop responding to Jeff the conservative. Stop responding to these people that are just bringing negativity into your life. If you let that negativity in, it brings you down. It
Mm-hmm.
upsets you. It frustrates you. It affects your everyday life. It affects your content. It's noticeable. I noticed it on my own. But
Mm-hmm.
it also could potentially run into your relationships. It can run into your family, your job. We've, again, 100%, the hate has got to stop. You know what I mean? And for me,
Absolutely.
that goes on Rizzle, that goes on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It doesn't matter. I'm done. I'm done with
Absolutely.
it. I will have conversations that are uncomfortable. I will have conversations with people that I don't agree with. I will have conversations. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm perfect, because I'm not. There's only one perfect person. That was God. That is not me. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to let him down. But you know what? I'm going to get back up, and I'm going to be like, I'm going to get back on track. But I'm not going to do it on my social media outlet anymore. Will I talk to my wife about it? Will I DM GQ and rant to GQ about something? I've done it before, and I'll do it again. Will I send something to the group chat where I'm frustrated? Absolutely. But my thing about it is at the end of the day, I want all of us to understand, promote positivity. And while we're here, if you don't mind, I like to go on a little bit of a rant
Go ahead.
about promoting.
Go ahead.
We all have hundreds of thousands of followers. And I talked about this on our live show, and I really wanted to clip it when we were live together, because this to me is very important. We, in that Rizzle chats, in those conversations, we do not support each other enough. I personally made a post with inside one of those chats that said, I want to make an Instagram chat where you send your content, you come in, you press like, you make a comment, and you move on. Because obviously, as content creators, the way to up your game is likes, the comments, the views, and stuff like that. We have, last time I checked, it was like between 20 and 25 people in one. There's like 7 of these Rizzle groups. I don't know why there's so many of them. I get confused by them. But I would send things, and the same 3 or 4 people would comment and like them. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, you know what? That's why I made the decision to make the chat. And you know what the crazy thing about it is? The only people that asked to join that chat are the same people that are the only ones that would continue to like and comment other people's stuff. We have way too
Yep.
many times. Why is there, let's just say hypothetically, we have 45 million followers on Rizzle. Okay? Let's take a 0.01% of that. Why is not every single person on Rizzle not have the 1,000 subscribers on YouTube that you need to become premium? I know the hours watch have to be there. Why do we not have that many? Why are people not, when you send them an article to read, why are they not clicking it? Do you understand?
Well,
A person that runs a website, you can see when you send an article to somebody, you can see where they clicked it from.
right. Well, one thing with me is that I stopped depending on people. That's number one. Number two, I got into the algorithm game and I just play
Mm-hmm.
that game. I study and I play that game.
Yep.
Once you get into that game, you get your feet wet, you get it rolling, all that is the back burner. You're not gonna worry about it. For
Yeah.
real.
Oh,
You know?
absolutely, absolutely. And that
Because the thing
it,
about it is this. We could talk about this until our face is blue. It's not gonna happen the way we would love it to happen.
for sure.
You know, it may happen sporadically in certain instances, but it's not going to be to our favor all the time.
No,
So
and for
that's why,
me, yeah, and for me, with that being said, for me personally, that's why I don't really conversate in a lot of those groups as much as I used to. And
mhm,
for me, I have the little group that we made that's separate, the Instagram. So what I don't even remember, Instagram support group. I don't know. It sounds like an AA group. I don't even know. But but we have this group, and it's like I want to support you. I not you, everybody else. I subscribe to your channel. People don't know this. I literally will sit at my desk at work. I don't listen. I'm not able to listen to everybody's content, not every single time, right? But what I can do is I can put it on the background and press play. I can like
yeah,
it.
I do the
I
same thing
can
too. Yeah,
I can watch the video without always watching it, right? You know what I
yeah,
mean? I can,
yeah,
but that to me, that's still supporting you. I can't always listen to everything
right.
because obviously, if you subscribe to 1,000 channels on YouTube, you can't listen to all 1,000 people's
I mean,
content.
it's
You
just
know?
like, we're talking about support. Like, I ended up following a lot of people on Rizzle, and I could count on my fingers, one
Yep.
hand, how many people that I've commented on their YouTubes and how many of them actually responded to my comment.
Yeah.
Okay, because what I was doing was bringing your video up, was
Yeah.
pushing it to the algorithm. So if I comment on your video and you don't even have the decency to like it, better yet to respond back to me, why should I continue doing that? You know what
Yep.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
Stuff like that.
because you even said to me in one of my comments on my scripture ones, you were like, "Hey, you should put more than just the just the
But
scripture."
I remember the comment. I think it was like, let's say Proverbs, whatever the number is. And
Hmm.
basically, I'm like, no, you should have the title as what you're saying.
Yeah,
And, the main point of what you were saying in that video. So, like that, people, because you need to make it searchable for YouTube. Because
yeah,
nobody's going to go on YouTube looking for Psalm 91. It's not going
yeah,
to happen. But they're going to look for maybe like, how to boost up my spirits type of thing, or,
yeah,
how to,
yeah.
move forward in life regardless of all the obstacles I face, something like that. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah,
That's exactly the thing. So you got to make it searchable, you
yeah,
know?
and that's exactly right, and that's what I've been doing. It's just like I'll take a word that is that's in that scripture, and I'll search for, I'll just say, all right, like I did the one today, whatever it was, and then I just put faith in it. You know what I mean? Like, or have
Yeah.
faith or something like that, and it's just like those little things that you can do, and it's like I was like, well, dang it, that's awesome. I appreciate that. I'm going to start
I
doing
mean,
that.
one
You
thing
know what
that
I
I
mean?
do, the way that I've worked with my YouTube that got me really far in a bit of time is that I would put the keywords into Google or
Hmm.
even the actual YouTube search tab. And that first sentence that comes up, like that first line that comes up, as long as it comes up based on what I put in the search, that's what you're going to use because that's what
Yeah,
people are looking for. And that's what YouTube recognizes. So once you do that and then you put your tags, associated with what's connected, because basically they'll actually allow you to know. And then you're going to do fine. But you have
hmm,
to do it more than once. You have to be
yeah,
consistent at it,
hmm,
you know? And the difference between us being on Rizzle and being on all different platforms is the consistency. It really is.
yeah.
Because every people on Rizzle are at it because it's simple and easy. No editing, whatever. They just drop a video, they get it going. You have
We can
nothing
all
to
become
worry about.
millionaires.
Rizzle takes care of everything else. But hey, on YouTube, you got to walk the walk by yourself.
Yeah, I said this to somebody. I don't remember who it was. It might have. I don't. Maybe I don't want to even maybe tell who I said it to, just because I don't want to out them. But um, we had the conversation about how people want to put how they enjoy Rizzle because they don't want to put the work in. And the funny thing about it is if you go if you a lot of Rizzle is like a lot of failed YouTubers, right? You know what I mean? It's the people that don't want to put the work in that you have to on Rizzle, right? Around on YouTube. YouTube's hard. It is. Like,
It
I
is.
remember back whenever I first joined YouTube, I made a video of like I talked to Siri, and it was the dumbest video I had ever made in my life. It got like 5,000 views on it, and it was like, "You're YouTube, whatever it was at the time. You can make money, you can monetize everything, yada 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 yada." I was like, "Bet." And then like after I was like a couple years, I stopped using it. And I go back and I'm like, well, you know what? I'm monetized on here still. I'm gonna start making content. And then I look, you're not monetized anymore. Oh, and by the way, in order to get monetized, you gotta do this, 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 and this. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well damn. Like,
Yeah.
well damn. And people don't want to, people don't want to put that put that effort in. And you're right, Rizzo, you upload a video and
And plus, I mean, in terms of support, like I support you guys a lot of different ways. I have this show, it's for
yeah,
you guys,
yeah,
and then I invited a lot of you guys that I know on YouTube into this group. It's all about YouTube. But how many of you guys have actually watched the a monthly webinars that they do in that group? I invited you. I invited a lot of people from Rizzo
yeah,
into that.
I've
And
learned
they
some
do
stuff from
monthly
it.
webinars. They
I've learned
had
some
one. They had one last webinar on Saturday. Okay, so it's posted in the group.
yeah.
Okay, so YouTube consultations, media hustle. I mean, that's actually the person who invited me to Rizzo that does it.
Yeah, there's some
Okay,
good. Yeah, there's
and
some
she's
good
a
stuff in
banging
there because
YouTuber.
I've tried to get back on the YouTube game. I've posted some stuff here and there. I've taken some. It's another one of those things. I've watched videos. I listen to you. You've mentioned some things in some of the group in some of the chats that we're in to talk about that
Right.
sort of stuff, and I take that advice. And it's like posting. I used to always just post blanket titles to my videos, and then I realized there's so much more to it, and there's so much
It's a
more to understanding it and doing it. And it's like, there's a lot that goes into being on YouTube, but I mean, the long game is a lot better. You know what I'm saying? Like it is. Like if you
Mhm.
put the hard work, but again, it's hard work, it's dedication, it's consistent, it's Rizzle, you have your cake and you eat it too. And YouTube,
Yeah,
you're lucky to even get the cake. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like
And the thing
it's
about it right now, there's a movement for short video apps.
yeah.
You know, and all
YouTube's
of
in the
those
game
short.
now.
What happened?
YouTube's in the game now.
Yeah. And the
Yeah,
thing about it, and it was funny, I did like short videos on YouTube without even them officially saying that they were doing shorts on
yeah.
YouTube.
Hmm.
And it's funny, that first short video that I did on YouTube on my channel, that's the video that skyrocketed my whole channel, and I went to 70,000 views.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Literally.
Yeah,
Okay. And the thing about it was that I didn't even think that was a good video. I didn't even like it. Okay. That was a video that I was like waiting to bring down, but it was actually a video that became a trend. It was a topic that was just going crazy on Google. And I was like, oh, it's perfect for my women empowerment,
what's
women's
up,
health
Sid?
channel. Let me talk about it. And I did it. And that's the one that's riding my channel.
Yeah, yeah, and
So
that's
you just
it.
never know. You just never know.
Yeah, exactly, and it's crazy. Well, I hate that. I hate that about social media in general. My funniest tweets or my funniest Instagram post get 3 likes. The
Yeah.
stupidest posts I will ever post, it's just the most random comment will end up with 1 million impressions, 5,000 likes, and it's like, really, that one? But this tweet was so funny, and like one person liked. I want the good one to go
Yeah.
viral, not the stupid
Yeah.
ones. You know what I mean? But it's funny though. I love it.
It's really crazy the way
It's
it works.
and the thing about it is for me as well is one thing that I've realized. Look, I've got a job. My job pays the
Yeah.
bills, right? The
Yeah.
hustle's hard, and And people, when I tell you the word that I hate more than anything, don't ever say the word busy to me. You know what I mean? I'm too busy. I can't make something because I'm busy. Folks, I will show you busy. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm the hardest worker in the world, but this man, I work. I leave my house at 6 o'clock in the morning, don't get home till 5 o'clock. Right now I'm working from home, yes. But normally I leave my house at 6 in the
Mhm.
morning. I don't get home till 5 o'clock, and I write at least one article a day for all my websites. I I have 3 podcasts that I host. I run a network. I have to tweet all that stuff out. I don't have enough time in a day for myself to the
Mhm.
point where it's frustrating. Like, if you want it bad enough, you're going to have to work your ass off. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
that's the thing. Stop thinking things are going to get handed to you. That's not how things work. I'm 34
Yeah.
years old. Everything that I've ever gotten in my life, I've had to work for. I've had to do myself. I've had to bust my ass to get to where I am right now. And I'm sorry for the
Absolutely.
people out there that want to get it handed to them. It's not like that. It's not.
Thank
And it's
you.
never going
Thank
to be
you.
like that. It's and the people that it does happen to, the people like Martine, like the people like Martine and I, we get mad when we watch people grow and prosper that did like this, because we bust our
Absolutely.
asses to do what we
Because
do
we put in
on
work.
top of what we do on a day-to-day basis that pays our bills. We bust our
Absolutely.
asses here, and the struggle
Mhm.
is real. But the thing about it is, we keep coming back because we want it. We
Yep.
want it. You know what I
Yep.
mean? That's the
And the
big thing.
thing about it, it's bigger than just blowing up. You know, some people
Yeah,
just want to blow up, but we have a purpose. When you have a defined
exactly.
purpose, whether you blow up
Exactly.
or not, you still gonna show up.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's funny to
Because
me
when I
because, like, I'll post a scripture video, and one of them will have like 3 views, and the next day I'll have another one that had like 350. I'm like, well, what was different about that
absolutely,
scripture than this scripture? Like, it's
absolutely, you know, but the thing about it, it was always useful to somebody. You just didn't know who exactly. But
exactly,
people are
exactly,
watching. You know,
exactly.
people are
And it
watching.
it might be that particular scripture that means something to somebody, that they heard it. But if that particular moment, that person got something from that, my purpose is served.
Yeah,
My purpose is served.
absolutely.
You know what I mean? I'm serving God's purpose. If my message and my daily scripture gets to one person, and that one person smiles. I had somebody comment. I had somebody comment on my scripture one time. This is is a guy that I've known for 10 plus years. I knew him from my
Mm.
wrestling days. He said to me, he commented on my video, on my scripture video one day. He says, "I want you to know that I watch these every single day. I don't really have a strong faith and belief in God, but," he says, "I want you to know that these put a smile on my face every day."
They do. Same here for me. I
That
mean, I from the time that I started like following you, I've been watching your YouTubes, but I just wanted you to be known that I'm actually there. So I started commenting on a couple.
Yeah,
But just
yeah.
because I don't comment now, that doesn't mean I'm not there. I
No,
still watch
I,
you.
and that's the thing, and I appreciate that, because for me it's like that's one thing I always struggle with, was like sharing the word of God. But for me, like, and people, I'm sure sometimes people watch them and they're like, "What is this guy talking about?" And that's the thing. Let me explain something. It's how you interpret his word. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
people lack the knowledge of the Bible, and I am, for one, I didn't grow up in a household with the Bible in my hands. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, for me, I grew up with a different idea of what that meant, what that book meant, right? That
Mhm.
that book didn't mean what it means to me now. You know what I mean? I don't understand. I still don't understand a lot of things. I struggle. There's days where I open the U version app on my phone, and I'm just like, all right, how do you say that? And then I listen to it.
Mhm.
I'm like, yeah, I can't. Habukic, like what? Like, no. Next script, I'm gonna try a different scripture. I can't do that. Like, or I'll read one and I don't understand it. I don't understand everything about the word, but it's how I interpret it. If you interpret it something different, fantastic, awesome. Thanks
Yeah,
for
it
listening.
resonates
Like,
differently. It resonates differently for everyone. But
yeah,
the fact that
exactly,
you're delivering it, the fact that you're delivering it is the plus.
yeah.
Because however it's going to resonate for each person is different, and you don't have control over that.
Exactly. We don't, and we don't have we are given a purpose. We are to spread His word, and how we spread that word is up to us. But as long as we're
Yeah.
spreading, God is good. God is
Yes.
good. God is always working in our lives. God is always there. He's always present. Even when you ignore Him, He is present. He's
For
always
sure.
willing and waiting and hoping that you're going to turn back to Him and say, you know what, God, I am sorry. You know what I mean? I have been distant from God before, and am I as engrossed now? Not being able to go to church sucks. I miss my pastor. My pastor's
Same.
funny. He's hilarious. He's a great guy. He's a good human.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I miss it. I miss the people. There's a buddy of mine that I used to go to church with. He's inspired me to do so much. He moved, and like he moved in the middle of the pandemic. He took a job somewhere else. I couldn't see him again. Like it's that sort of stuff. Like it, again, but that's on us. You know what I mean? It's on us. It's
Yeah.
it's it's about making sure that we die. But this is something that I use to hold myself accountable in order to get the word out there, because the word needs to get out there more.
Right. And I'm glad you're doing this. I'm really glad you're doing this. I'm glad you stepped into your purpose. I'm glad that you've adjusted and made changes in your life in terms of how you view social media, because it's very important. Because at the
It
end of the
is.
day, social media is part of your reputation. It's
It
part
is.
of your conduct, your behavior,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to sit with you. Like I said, a good video will stay forever and you will benefit from it. Just like a bad video will stay forever and benefit from it also in a negative way.
Yep.
Okay. So, video never goes out of style.
Yep.
So if you are conscious of what you're putting out there and saying that you don't want to argue with people and you don't want to go back and forth anymore, good for you. Because right then and there, I mean, you're in control of your energy at this point. You're protecting your energy and you're fully in control of who you are as a person. Like nobody could come and violate you because you got this locked down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's important.
Yeah.
That's
Do
really
you think
important.
the Ricky 6 months ago would have been okay with last night? Absolutely
Nah,
not.
nah, absolutely
Abs-
not. And I'm so happy to have you back because you're definitely a new person. You're a
you
renewed
know,
person.
it's
And,
less.
and it's
I
not what
would
it's
have
all
probably
about.
tried to kill somebody last night if 6 months ago Ricky would have went to something like that. I wouldn't. But that's the thing. I wouldn't even thought about going to something like that 6 months ago.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I'm like,
you
that's
wouldn't
not
see
who.
your
That's
face.
and that's it's about growth, and I've still got a long way to go, but I feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be. I'm chasing things that I've never chased before. You know what I mean? And I'm starting to see that maybe certain things that I'm working on aren't as important as some of these other things that I'm
Yeah,
working on, and I'm
right.
starting to see some of the stuff that matters. And this political game, it's it's hard, um, but from the perspective of which I'm trying to go down, I when I wrote the article, I wrote one negative thing within the article because I feel like if I didn't say anything, it would be a representation of what that person said. It was a comment about the trans community. I'm not okay with something like that. You know what I mean? I don't think that's a
Mhm,
joke. I don't think it's
mhm.
funny. I don't understand it, but that's their lives. Let them live it. And but for me, it's I want to be the, I don't be the Fox News or the CNN or the, or the, I want to be the Candace Owens, but I want to be whoever you can name within that circle of political figures that talk about politics, but I want to be the one that brings everybody together. You know what I mean?
Yes,
I don't want the division. Division doesn't do anybody good. You know what I mean? We
no,
are a nation divided right now.
very much so.
Divided. And
Yeah.
if we can bring 100 people over to the understanding that, all right, I hear what you're saying, I don't agree with you, but we can talk as friends. We can be civil with each other. We can be cordial with each other. You know what I mean? It's You watch 7 hours of coverage. Not one time did anybody yell and scream at each other. And we had crazy sides on both sides. You know what I mean? When there was one confrontation, it was questions being asked, and they were answered with respect. And then the person that didn't agree with them, even said towards the end, "I learned something."
Mm-hmm.
It's about learning. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
never stop learning.
it is.
I'm on my
And
soapbox again with you, Martine. You get me on my soapbox.
so I definitely want to take the time to definitely congratulate you. I mean, the growth and
Oh,
expansion is just so there with you. I've watched you grow, and to be able to witness that, that is huge for me. I love stuff like that.
appreciate it.
And definitely the person you were before and the person you are now are two different people. And it's definitely, it was a pleasure knowing you then, but it's more of a pleasure knowing you now, for sure. I'm very happy the route that you've taken. And I look forward to seeing more. of what you have to deliver, because you're needed. You are a loose cannon that is needed. So therefore, with that being said, you can't get in depth into the whole, let's say, taking a position into the politics, but to bring people together, you have to continue to be that freelance blogger, that freelance podcaster, that loose cannon type of character, so that you could just mend things and mesh people together, because
Yeah.
that's what you do. You do it lovely, you
Yeah.
know. I mean, I'm never gonna forget election night coverage that you did. I will never forget that. It will resonate me for the rest of I don't know how long. You know,
Yeah.
it was remarkable, totally phenomenal what you put together. And like I said, I don't even think you even realize how huge that was what you did that night
I
until
appreciate
way
that.
after.
I
You
appreciate
know,
that. That means a lot to me. It does, because that night was, it was terrifying going into it. I had the jitters. I was like, well, you know what? I said I was going to start at this time, but ABC and CBS and Fox, they're not starting until this time. So maybe I'll start at this time. I started trying to talk myself out of, well, maybe I'll cut it off at like 8 or 9. And then it was just like, oh my God, I'm nervous. Like I emailed these people, the guest were not coming, like nobody was responding to my emails. Oh my God, am I going to be the only one on for 7 hours? Like what is going, like, and it came together, and it was a rewarding experience like I've never experienced in my life. And I can't thank you enough. Like I understand this is you're saying good things about me, but let me turn the tables here, because there was a lot of people in and out all night, but you were consistent. You added to the conversation. You weren't just there watching. You were engaging. You were supporting, you were commenting, you just were magical that night. And because of people like you, mostly you, like you were, there was a lot of other people that were there throughout the night, but because of you, you kept me going through hour 1, through hour 2, through hour 3, all the way up until 7 hours. And I had no plans on going for 7 hours. But as the night progressed, and as more people jumped on, as we had different people that weren't even scheduled to come on, and then your comments throughout. And I had one of my friends that I work with, he came on, and Chris, like when he told his story, and that
mm-hmm.
moment was powerful to me. You know what I mean?
Yes, really.
I remember when I first met Chris, I hated him. We were in a group chat together with a bunch of work people. I hated Chris. I hated who he was. And that person that meant that talked that night, that was a guy that I've gotten to know. That was a guy that I
Mm-hmm.
respected. That's the guy that, out of all of the group chat, we used to talk. Like he went from my least favorite person in the chat to now he's one of my very, very, very good friends. And what you did that night, well, I will never forget. I will never forget, because to me, as somebody that spent hours researching, hours of time, and I rearranged my entire basement so that I had just this normal backdrop behind me, so you didn't see anything that was movie related or politically related. I rearranged the entire basement room so that it would just be me, the backdrop, and these people, and people like you completely made it worth it. It made my heart so full. And I sent you a message as soon as it was over.
Yeah,
As soon as it
you
was over,
did.
you were the first person I messaged, because
Yeah.
you supported me that night, and sent me massive amounts of love. And even whenever I go back, I go back and I clip from it. You know what I mean? I take clips from them, upload the clips. I see your comments, and it makes me smile, because to know somebody's out there that I've never met before, that I've never been around, that I met through a Rizzle app, is
Mm-hmm.
supportive, and it's not just people don't understand, not just supportive. You don't just watch my videos. You don't just like, you sat there and you watched me for 7 hours. It's something I'll never, you say it changed your life. For me, it changed mine, because it was amazing, and I appreciate it. So
Let me tell you, I'm deeply touched by all that you said. You know, I had no idea that all of this was going to come through. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart for it, for real. And let me tell you, that night, GQ has a comment here that's very, that I want to highlight on. He said, Martine supported you on a day she usually does her show. Respect. Yeah,
yeah,
it's true, because it's a day. It was a day. Yeah, it was a day that I do my show, but that day was election night, and there was no way in the world I would have a show anyway, because the focus was going to be on election night anyway.
yeah,
So I didn't schedule anything purposely, because I knew that it was going to be election night. I didn't know that you were going to have a show. But when I realized that you're gonna have a show, I was like, perfect. Why not help you
Yeah.
in the process? I didn't know how involved I would be in
Yeah.
it, but I knew that I was going to divert my crowd to you
Yeah.
because you're going to be on the set that night.
Yeah.
And then plus, what you were talking about, our lives depend on it.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to hear it.
Yeah.
That's why I made it my duty. Once I saw the way that it was panning out and how the way it was going down, I was like, okay, I went to all the groups that I'm connected with
Yeah.
and be like, come on, if you guys are somewhere in the chat somewhere talking about that, get into, the chat that Ricky got going on. Let's
Yeah.
make this happen.
It was
So,
insane because it was insane. I mean, it was the amount of people that the number ended up being like well over 200 unique visitors came through, which
yeah,
was about 198 more than I expected. So like, and that's the thing, like it
absolutely.
wasn't, and for me, and that's the thing, like I'll be honest, I wouldn't have cared if one person watched all night.
I know because you're
It's
doing what you were called to do.
exactly,
But the
and
thing
that's
about it, you were doing something that we all depended on. Our lives depends on this.
yeah,
Our future depends on
yeah,
this. The future, our children's future depends on
exactly,
this. So
exactly,
there's no way in the world that I saw the value that you were putting out for me not to put out my utmost to help you. I could have done it to anybody. It's not
yeah,
Ricky Valero. Okay.
yeah,
It's for the cause in the matter.
yep.
Okay. And that's
It's about
what's
the
most
bigger
important.
purpose.
So that's why, like today, when it was kind of coming down, like, oh, favoritism, Ricky was like, I'm like, cut the nonsense out. Because had anybody else doing something purposeful that particular night of importance, I would have done the same thing. So
Yeah,
that's why I tell everybody, you want that support, no problem. Get to work,
yeah.
period. And that's
Yeah,
it.
because I promise you guys, and Martine can attest to it because she sat there for the 7 hours with me. Is sitting there for seven, and I mean obviously you were in the sitting
No
there for
joke.
7 hours with a mic on your face. It's not easy. Like
Yeah. I mean,
it's
there are times where I left the chat open and I was doing other stuff,
yeah,
but my presence was there.
yeah,
And I saw what was going on. I came in, I did something. I was in the bed. I was relaxing. I was
yeah,
up. I was walking around. I went to the bathroom. You couldn't do that.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I still showed you that I was still there.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And that's the thing. It's you're right because if people want that same support, then
Get
use
to
your
work. Get cracking.
purpose. Use
Get
your
cracking.
purpose. Use your
Yeah.
purpose for what you're trying to do. No, just promote a blog that you're writing or a podcast that you're doing that there's hundreds of thousands of podcasts. I know that. You know what I mean? The podcast game is hard. Let me
It
tell you,
is.
the podcast game is hard to break into. And for me, it's what are you doing with your platform? Are you promoting hate? Are you promoting negativity? Are you promoting things that aren't bettering around us? And you're right. The thing about it is, let me explain to everybody else this as well. I'm going to be very critical of the Biden and Kamala regime as well if they don't take action where they need to take action. I'm not.
Absolutely, by
We
all
all
means. And that's how we hold them. That's how we hold them accountable. That's our
exactly.
duty as citizens, as voters, to do
Yes.
so. Okay.
Exactly.
We are in our right to do so.
Exactly.
Okay.
If it's just like we talked about, like I said early on in the show, whenever I said I gave Obama those chance for 4 years to prove to me why you won this election, even though I didn't vote for you, you had 4 years to give me your vote. Get me your vote. You have Biden, Harris, you've got 4 years to show us that
Everybody has
empathy.
4 years.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Everybody
Yeah.
has 4 years.
Yeah.
Trump had 4 years too.
Yeah.
Everybody had 4 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, we all give people time
Yeah.
for them to assess themselves to
Yeah.
what their highest good is. That's what it is, right? We
Yeah.
give people time, but you have to work towards your highest good. It doesn't happen haphazardly. It doesn't fall from the sky. You know what I'm saying? It's not a cookie they send you from, it's not a cookie treat. You get what I'm
No.
saying? You got to put in time. You got to put in work. You got to put in effort. And that's where
Yep.
the value comes in.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, for
So,
sure. Because you know, the person you interviewed back in I think maybe October. No, I don't. I don't remember
it
yet.
was
August,
September. It was in
September,
September.
September. Back when you interviewed me in September, I was a different person. This wasn't in the calling. This political stuff wasn't in the calling then. That
You
wasn't even in the
didn't even
realm.
know. You did not even know if you would be close to this for real.
No, I didn't think that I
Like
was going to be where I
seriously.
am today.
Okay.
But again, God, I felt God pulling me in this direction, and I never, when I messaged Samir, I never in a million years, like she's a celebrity. She's a celebrity. Never in a million years. And she's become one of my very good friends. We communicate on a day-to-day basis. We don't have to agree on things, but she is a great person. She stands for what she believes in, and that's good for her. She has the right to do so. She has beliefs, and but like when I messaged her that day, I did not in a million years expect her to respond to me. She responded, and the rest is history. I will always be grateful for her because I am right here where I am today within my purpose because of her responding to my Instagram message and coming on my show and listening to her talk and motivating me and just instilling this word inside of me that I felt the need to just get out to everybody understand you don't always have to agree with everybody. Just be
Right.
yourself, listen and learn. And like I said, I mean, it's moments like that where I look back and I go, that was God. And that to me, you
Yeah.
can't change those moments. You can't.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It's crazy because most of the times when you look back on life, you could look back 15 years ago, 10 years ago, even 5 years ago and be like, that was God, right? That was God.
Absolutely.
But,
Absolutely.
but when you're so rooted in his word, and within the last month I can sit here and say I was like, that was God. That's cool to me, you know what I mean? That's,
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? It's not one of those I made a bunch of mistakes and I look back and I'm like, damn, he held me from that one, like that was him. It's like, wow, he's using this purpose inside of me to
Yeah.
get this word out. So
And you're gonna see more of that happen as you walk
oh
the path because you know
yeah,
what, you're definitely in alignment. And those are the people that are gonna show up for you. And those are the conversations you're gonna have.
yeah,
Okay. All purposeful conversations in alignment with your purpose. The people are going to be in alignment with your purpose. That's how it transpires. And that's how you start attracting, your whole platform, your whole world. Okay. And that's what a lot of people call attraction marketing.
yeah,
It's a sort of marketing, but
yeah,
it comes from the soul.
yep,
That's why, like, if any course that you were to take, they're going to tell you for you to dive deep into your past, for you to
yep,
connect with yourself, into your soul. And once you do that, then you're going to weed out whatever it is that's stuck in there that doesn't need to be in there, that you're just like holding on to. Okay.
yep,
You got to get rid of the past. And then once you open that pathway, then here you are
yep,
walking into your purpose, doing
yep,
things, creating things constantly.
yep.
So congratulations, man, because you got it.
I appreciate that.
Once you reach that point, now you're just gonna cross over and just keep it moving.
It is. It's great, and it's cool to have that feeling to understand. It's like, and this is affirmation. Tonight's affirmation for me
Absolutely,
with you,
absolutely.
and I mean that with your words. They're powerful to me because again, I wasn't sure what I was going to do with my experience last night. I wasn't sure, and
Mm.
and talking to you tonight in the comment section and the kind words that you say, it's a reminder that I'd rather have one of you than 50 of anybody else. I mean that.
Absolutely.
I mean that.
Thank you so much, and I so appreciate you. And I'm
Oh,
here
and
to
I'm
support
just let
you.
everybody know. I'm going to make everybody mad real quick. I'm going to be back. I'm going to let you know. I'm going to be back on again.
Yes,
I'm going to be back on 15
next
times
year,
if I want to be. Okay.
2021, you'll be back for sure. Next
Oh,
year.
and don't forget, and I want everybody to know that I'm putting Martine on the spot right now. She don't know what I'm about to say, but if you don't know, everybody should know because you should be seeing my Facebook or my Instagram post. But Women Appreciation Podcast in December. Martine's
Hmm.
going to be on the show. She doesn't know it yet. She just found out just now. But I'm going to have Martine on the show. We're going to get together. I'm going to put her on my podcast. We're going to talk. And I'm going to flip the shoe the other foot. I'm going to interview her. You know what I mean? It's like I said, this is all brand new
Okay.
news to her. But I am, though. I'm excited because December, I wanted to do something different, and I wanted to have a Women Appreciation Month where I just interviewed just women and had women in different walks of life,
Nice.
with women in
Mm-hmm.
different walks of life, and wanted to have a podcast dedicated just to women. And so throughout the month
Mm-hmm.
of December, I'm going to interview a lot of different women. I've got a laundry list of people that are in sports media. I've got people that are in politics. I've got people that are in music, and I'm excited because I'm going to add you to my roster, and I'm officially offering the invite to you. But I'd love to have you on.
Awesome. I would love to be on as long as it's not Tuesdays or Thursdays, because you know that's what I do, the Martine
It's
show.
going to be Tuesdays. All my shows are going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, definitely not. It's not going to be. It won't be a live show. It'll be off air show that we'll publish.
Okay, no problem. Well, I'm definitely delighted and look forward towards doing it with you. You know, we're gonna have a great time.
Yes.
I'm very happy. I'm very pleased. And
Thank
I'm
you.
very pleased about you. I'm very pleased about your growth. And you know what? To have you come back on my show, to know that my show is about self-awareness, self-development, and everything social, is transformational. For you to come back and give us this testimony today truly puts me in a position to know that I am needed, I'm necessary, and what I'm doing is called for.
Absolutely. You are 1,000% needed.
Thank you so much. And you know what? I can see why the obstacles came today before we came on the air.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I thank you so kindly for being so understanding how I had to hash things out and make it clear,
Totally
but it was
understand.
much needed.
It was.
So thank you, Ricky, for your time. I appreciate you. Thank you for having us. Thank you, everyone, for supporting Ricky. It's been a blessing, and we look forward to more with you. And we'll see you all next time.
See you guys.
All right, take care. Bye bye.